right away here because now you hear me. Yeah. Now you hear me. Holy shit, piece of crap. OBS. Is everybody there? I'll give a few minutes for everybody to come back and everything. I'm really sorry. OBS, even though it's the best program, it is the shit program, the worst program for stuff like that. It has so many bugs. Like right now, I did not add the sound, and I didn't see the sound. So actually, I could have seen it before, but I did not. So really sorry, guys. Really sorry about that. How is everybody doing tonight? Welcome to the stream. Like you guys know, we started that last week. We're continuing this week our second guest in the Ozu interview series. Oleh from the Guild Easy. You all been waiting for that. I have been waiting for that. I am really happy to have him here. Without further ado, I give you Oleh. Oleh, my man. Welcome to the stream.
Hello, everyone.
Really nice to have you. Thank you very much to have accepted the offer to come. I'm really glad to have you here. I have plenty of questions for you. I'm sure, or everyone who will join and watch this will also have plenty of questions for you. I can't wait. So, without wasting any time, we'll jump right in. First of all, how are you today?
Yeah, I'm doing great. I'm excited to be here, and yeah, I'm pretty buzzed. So,
Okay.
and I know there's a lot of people that even in my own guild haven't seen me on cam and stuff. So I think it's going to be quite good banter for everybody.
I am. So it's your first. It's your first time ever on cam, even for your guildies.
Yeah, face reveal. Yeah. I mean, apart from the ones in my guild that have seen me in real life, but yeah, I think so.
Okay, perfect. So let's start with to talk a little bit more about you. I want to know your history in WoW. So before knowing that there was a classic coming, before all this part, did you play vanilla? Until when did you play vanilla? Did you play TBC? Did you play retail after that? Up onto where did you play? Your guild and so on.
Yeah, sure. So Easy was a guild in vanilla, and we were on Shadow Moon, which is where a lot of the big guilds originated.
Okay.
But then they had a big exodus off, and it was left with just us and all the big Czech guilds, really. And we got server first, Nefarian, Cthulhu, and then we did about 5 out of 15 in Nax. And by that time, TBC was announced. We realised that our epics were going to be replaced by greens by level 63 or whatever. So a lot of us didn't see the point in it. And that grew to be pretty much our biggest regret. Like, who would have thought that 15 years later you would be wanting to return to a game, like, because you didn't complete the content? And so that was pretty much our focus, coming back to Classic, was to, one, finish where we left off, and poor Zell in our guild that's been in Easy for 20 years. He was left with 4 splinters for 15 years. So getting him and Atish and Atiesh was a big point in us returning as well.
That's awesome. So this is your first player that got Atish, right? Not long ago, if I recall it right. I know we're
Yeah, true.
jumping, but I found that that really it's really cool for a player that was left with no Etish back in vanilla, a few Splinter, to come back and
Yeah.
today finish it at the end of Classic. That's really really cool.
Yeah, he joined us when he was 14 years old, so it's like, and now we're all like deep in our 30s, so it's a kind of cool story to complete that story arc.
It is. It is. Well, grats to him. I mean, holy shit. Who would have thought? It's. I think for let's say for comparison's sake, all the warriors that are coming back that want to turn the Thunder Fury is way easier. It has been way easier, even though it's hard, no, to get the Thunder Fury. I think we'll talk about that later because you had quite a few, so I want to know the story behind that. But it's a little bit easier, I think, to get Thunder Fury than to get Atish because you have to raid. First of all, you have to stay for the whole of Classic, but to raid Naxxramas and basically be 15 out of 50. It's quite an accomplishment.
For sure.
Okay, so Classic was announced. I am guessing you got in touch or somebody got in touch with your old crew. Let's start back Classic. What do you guys think? I'm guessing this all started like this.
Yeah, we had since we've been a guild for over 20 years, a lot of us have got each other on Facebook and stuff, and we had a Facebook group where we all kind of kept in contact, just normal banter. And every so often, people would be like, "Okay, let's go and play this MMO together," and we ended up playing everything. But then I believe it was Zell again who wanted to go back to Classic for obvious reasons, and I was saying no, absolutely not. Am I going to waste my time being in that game again? I can't do it. I'm absolutely not playing. And then I think they wore me down a bit, and I said, okay, if I'm playing, I'm going to be a rogue. I'm not going to be a healer again. And then I think the night before, I decided I was going to come back and I was going to be a healer again and do the whole deal. I think my girlfriend was away for the weekend, and I was feeling lonely, and I was dragged in by WoW again. So I think that's the story behind it.
Were you a priest back in vanilla?
Yeah, I was a holy priest, but I also played a lot of rogue as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you decided to redo the whole priest. Okay.
Yeah.
So Classic it. You why chose Mirage-Raceway, or more importantly, I think why choose a PvE server rather than a PvP server?
I mean, I really don't know. I wanted to play PvP, and I wanted to play Alliance this time. So I'm not quite sure whose fault that is.
Let's just blame Zael again.
I mean, there was definitely a bit of Kuroa saying, like, there's a bunch of you that aren't going to be able to get to even get to level 60 if we play in a PvP server because you'll get distracted by running about. But I'm not quite sure how that ended up. I mean, I was there late in the day, and I think I was working, and then I came in and somebody had reserved my name for me. So that decision was made without me.
Okay, so you got there. It was already decided. Let's play Horde on a PvU server, Mirage-Raceway. Was the guild already created when you joined, or was that still in the talk?
Nah, it was done so quickly. Like I believe that the officers all just jumped on and they all got the job done almost immediately. Got the gold together, teamed up, made the guild as like top priority going in, even before leveling.
Okay, perfect. I'm sorry if you hear my dog; she's going crazy sometimes. Um, you said something important. You mentioned an important name, and I want to talk about it a little bit. Who created Easy? And where do you stand, you Oleh, in the guild?
Easy was created by me and my best friend in real life, Kuroa.
Okay.
Long time ago in Diablo 2, really. And we've still got players in our guild from back then, and then we really blossomed in Star Wars Galaxies. And it was started by me and Kuroa jointly. I don't think one of us decided to make a guild and then the other one followed, or it was just like, let's make a guild together kind of thing.
Okay, so you guys decided. Well, it was created by you guys, but I think today you have the officer role and Kuroa has more the GM role. Am I right? How is it? How is, let's say, the hierarchy done in the guild?
Yeah, I'm not the GM,
Okay.
which will come as surprise to a lot of people, I think, because everybody just assumes that I am. But the GM of Easy is Kuroa, and I guess I'm like his second in command and the face of the guild. Like you asked him to be on here, but he doesn't have interest in any of that kind of stuff or dealing with anything outside the guild or recruitment. So that's my role.
Okay. Yeah, I to have seen him a few times in Ogrimmar. He has the GM role. He's quiet as well. I've never seen him actually on Discord, on the Mirage-Raceway Discord or so on. So I'm guessing he is the quiet type of guy. That's what
I don't think anyone in Easy would describe him as quiet. He doesn't. In fact, I think it's the opposite. He's pretty much the most entertaining guy in the guild that talks all the time. But he just doesn't have any interest in doing anything outside the guild. So we've got a division of roles, and we run the guild in a way that we both want to. That I've got my roles and he's got his roles, and I like doing the recruitment and I like doing the kind of strategy stuff, and he makes the final decision and he deals with loot, deals with all the priority lists and all that kind of stuff.
So you each have your own role within the guild.
Yeah.
Okay. Is he Scottish?
Yeah, he's Scottish.
Okay,
we're both from Glasgow.
Yeah, there's no way he's a quiet type of guy. I mean, I know Scottish people.
No. Yeah, he's pretty typical Scottish. Yeah.
Cool. I love Scottish people, by the way.
The old ally.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, so you started playing. How did you approach your, let's say, your leveling? What type of guy are you? Are you the type to quest, or are you the type to do dungeon?
I think I'm definitely a dungeon guy. I hate leveling. I'm really bad at it. We've got a meme back from vanilla where I got lost on my way from Brill. I just hate it. At times in vanilla, I think Jarv had to boost me, or I was just like giving up. And even in a classic, I'm way better at it now, and I've leveled a few characters, and I don't mind. But I think that it's just not for me. Apart from AoE grinding, I did an AoE grind mage. That was awesome. That was really easy. But yeah, I just hate leveling, and I like talking to people and recruiting and stuff. So I think that was pretty much my focus.
Did you level your healer as Oleh, your priest as Oleh throughout all those dungeons, or?
Yeah, and the reason for that is basically as a healer, you just let everybody do the work for you. and you just sit back and they grind for you, whilst I'm sitting typing to people and recruiting.
Did you do a lot of recruiting, let's say in phase 1 before hitting MC? How was the recruitment process in Easy?
Before MC?
Yes, like at the beginning of the guild while you guys were still leveling. There was no shit at logs back then, so how did you approach the...
Yeah, we got shit hot logs here. Simply, it was Karoa. There's some guys in the chat saying who's Jarv, because I think I've referred to Karoa as Jarv. Apologies. If I do that, then Karoa is Jarv and Jarv is Karoa.
Okay.
Karoa and Kaz, they were level 60 very, very fast. Like, there was a group of players that were all level 60 at the start. Men here, Karoa, Kaz, and a bunch of other people, like a lot of people from Dark Rain and Muffin Vendor and Wipe in Progress, that were all like level 60 pretty early on, and they're doing UBRS together. At this point, I'm like level 37, if that. And a lot of EZR as well. And I'm realizing that these guys are going to want to raid pretty soon, and I want to keep them entertained. And also, I've just read what Sarima wrote.
No, it's okay.
Okay, I need to not get distracted by chat. So I knew that they were going to want to raid, and that I needed to get a guild of level 60s together, whilst the core VZ leveled up. So, and also from my experience of vanilla, unlike Shadowman and Alonsis, I felt like there's always one big guild that does all the content, swallows everything up, and all that kind of stuff. So I felt that was going to be the case. So basically I went out there and I recruited a lot of the top level players to get a raiding guild going pretty early.
While leveling, you said you were level 37, so I'm guessing, okay, between level 35 till level 60, you recruited a lot of players. How did you approach your recruitment? Were you because, like I said, there was no logs back then. There was no raiding yet. So it was just an interview that you just by talking with them, by getting to know them, getting to know their background, and so on.
Yeah. So pretty much, I wanted at that point to find anyone that had experience of at least AQ.
Okay.
So I was messaging anyone that was like high level, and then explaining our credentials and how good we were in vanilla and what our intentions were in classic, and saying, hey, what about you? Did you do this? And then if somebody's like, oh yeah, I cleared all the content, and then I'd be like, how old are you? And if they said like I'm 23, I'm like, I called bullshit on it because you're not old enough to do it, you know. So yeah, that was pretty much the strategy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Let's talk a little bit about MC. So fast forward, now everybody's at 60, level 60. Before MC, actually, what was your first raid? Was it MC or was Onyxia your first raid?
It was Oni.
Oni? Perfect. So how did you... And why Onyxia first?
Well, that was pretty much what the server decided to do. Because our first raid of MC and Oni was part of a pug that was with Muffin Vendor, Wipe in Progress, and a few other guilds.
Okay. So you participated. How did that part go? That raiding Onyxia, you participated. You put it in place. What was your role in...
No, I mean there was people that were like really keen on getting it done. I can't remember exactly who it was now, but it wasn't myself because I was still leveling. But I knew this was a train that we had to get on, and we had about 18 level 60s at the time that we offered up for it. And I think at the time they were talking about going with Dark Rain, and the guilds at this point that had a lot of 60s were Easy, Dark Rain, Muff Vendor, Wipe in Progress, and Consang and Rip had a few as well. So we needed to make sure we felt that we were on that train and that we were there for the first Oni. So I convinced whoever was running it to take Easy instead of other guilds, and we did Oni, and then we did MC with the first pug, and we cleared up to Major Domo.
So that first MC was of a pug, so a lot of easy member plus other guild. Okay. How long did you run with that pug before having all easy members level 60, or being able just to do it yourself, basically?
Yeah, 1 week, which caused a bit of drama at the time, because the people in that group committed to us, and I believe they picked us over Dark Rain, and then we decided to move out on our own the following week, because we wanted to because we had our 40-60s and we wanted to do Horde first, MC.
Yeah.
But pretty much we all know MC's a joke, but it was really about who had the most 60s, and the only other road bump was Quintessence. So you had to have somebody that did the quest and got the rep from the first runs. And actually, we only had one person from that pug that had the rep and the Quintessence. So that one person had to keep running back to the island to get their vial refilled for every single boss. And that's all they did the whole raid. And if that person didn't do it, then we wouldn't have got Horde first. So that was quite funny.
It's quite quite a commitment as well. I mean, poor guy was running back and forth.
And right then, you're like, we didn't know what Warcraft logs were. We had no idea. It was kind of like a bit of a surprise to us. So if I look at Warcraft logs now for progress on Mirage-Raceway for MC, sorry, I should have taken notes of this, but the date that we've got down for the Horde first MC isn't actually accurate. So it says 26th of September, but it was actually the week before. So we're actually server second on that, and not just Horde first. And also the Oni we did was a week earlier as well, but we just didn't know what Warcraft logs were really at the time. It was kind of new to us.
Okay. Who was server first? If you were server second, do you remember?
Discipline.
Discipline was okay, yeah. On the but yeah. you were number one on North side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't think I've ever said that before. Apart from I've said it to the GM of Imperial. I just went on and told him. Just that was enough for me. Just to let him know.
To let them know what?
To let them know that we did it before them.
Mm.
So we had the conversation, and I left it at that.
Okay.
Oh, Zuma, I forgot my wine.
I'll go get it. Are you crazy? No wine. Right here in the middle of the interview, the guy has no wine. What is this? What is this? What a chat? What do you think? No wine. Oh, look at him. Look. Look at him. Cheers. Just
Cheers.
I changed
Is
since
this
then.
racist? I'm not sure.
I changed. I did not know why the I don't know you call it, garlic. I did not know until I spent some time with my my in-game Scottish friend that explained the reason why to me. Actually gave me a post to read. And, yeah, it was kind of funny. Good one, sir. Good one. You represent.
Okay, I deserve that.
Yeah, I'll when the next Scottish guy that I bring, I'll do the same for you guys.
Or like put on your kilt and get your bagpipes out and your bucky and all that.
There's actually an emote of me, an Irish emote. No, not an Irish, a Scottish. Sorry, Scottish emote of me that will soon be available. Because I got actually adopted by the Irish people not so long ago. Really funny, man. What?
Sorry, I think I'm throwing you off. No.
What wine are you drinking? No, that was super fun.
Some trash, like it's just some wine that somebody gave to me. I've got no idea. Know nothing about wine. It's Pinot Noir.
Oh, that's not bad. I'm actually drinking Pinot Noir myself. So cheers.
Of course. Cheers.
Okay, let's get back to MC. Do you remember your second week? Huh? You did the first week with the pug. Second week, guild only. Do you remember?
Yep.
Do you remember your first night going in there? Did you clear everything on the first night, or did it? Okay, can you go over it a little bit? How was the raid? How many wipes?
Yeah, we tried to piece this together because I couldn't find it on logs. So we all had a chat about it the other night, trying to remember. And I believe that we wiped on Gar, and we wiped on Shazra, and weirdly wiped on Sulfuron. And I think also a wipe on... No, we one time Major Domo, and then I think we had a wipe on, or 2 wipes on Ragnaros, and we did it.
How many phase on? How many phase on Rag did you get a submerge or not?
Yeah, we got submerged, and we had to do it with Suns. Yeah.
So quite early, second week and first week, actually first night as a guild, you clear everything. I'm guessing all the subsequent week, everything just went better and so on. After a while, I'm guessing your focus changed. So after progress was done, there's a few guild, maybe, I don't know, 5-10 guilds on North side that was doing MC. Did you just keep on grinding MC, or did your focus change on doing something else with MC?
So, as I said, I recruited to make sure that we were the first guild to do it, and then waiting for the old core VC members to level up. Which, of course, you know, we're all deep in our 30s now, dads, lives and stuff, so it took us all a bit longer. But then once we got there, we essentially had 2 guilds.
Okay.
And we did a lot of kind of trial and error with tanks and new officers, because we didn't just want to have it like the clique of the old Easy Guard. We wanted to, you know, show the new people that we wanted to do things their way and invest in them. And we selected certain people for certain roles, and then figured out who it was we wanted to build the guild around. And then we essentially split the 2 MC raids into splitting our best players over both, to maximize loot and to make sure that we got as many Thunder Furies. Also, we leveled alts. So we took about 20 alts into a third run, along with a bunch of other people and pugs, and to get a third run. So then we were getting 3 MCs going at once, and the main aim of that was to get Thunder Furies. And we had people assigned to Thunder Furies in each. We weren't like, I remember Dolar last week, he was talking about doing a split where you had 20 mains in each and 20 alts, and the alts don't get any loot unless the mains don't need it. It wasn't like that. We didn't focus the loot like that. It was just mostly about Thunder Furies. Because our philosophy's always been redundancy and replacing people, because you never know what's going to happen. I might have to quit the game because of work or life. Koroa might need to quit. Any of our main tanks might quit or leave. So we always had a backup for every role within the guild, because we always say the show must go on. Nobody's bigger than easy. And that's been a pretty good philosophy that we've had, and our main aim around MC. Then it shifted a bit more when I was spamming my recruitment message, Horde #1 guild, sick of doing things the hard way, do it the easy way. And then people were like, you're not Horde #1. Yeah, people already know the meme I'm coming up with now. You get undisputed in the chats, guys. But what happened was that Omen at the time had completed MC in a faster time than us. And we were like, why does that matter? Progress is all that matters. Like, I don't understand. And it was on Warcraft logs. And I said to Koroa, look, people are saying that we're not the top guild because of Omen's got a better time. Like, should we do it fast? And then Koroa's like, nah, shut up. Next thing you'll tell me that there's a prize for least deaths. And I was like, well, let me tell you, there is. So at that point, I believe that we decided that we're going to do a speed run. And we took, instead of having the best players split over the 2 runs, we took all the best players in the guild and put it into 1 run. And we went for it. And we got a better time than Omen. And not a lot of people knew that we're splitting our best players, because a lot of guilds have like an A team and a B team, and we don't like to do that. So we went for it, we beat them, and then of course the next day, I was spamming easy, undisputed Horde #1 guild. Like, get it up, you Omen. Right? That was basically it. However, there's me forgetting that there's other guilds on the server, like Burnt and Consang, to be pretty offended by this, I guess. Or, like, not offended, but, like, right, undisputed, we want to prove you wrong kind of thing. Where it was me just directly trolling Omen, for them trolling us. And that's where the undisputed meme came from, and it was pretty much Burnt that started it. It was pretty funny. Even Penthelia made a warlock called Disputed. Fuck you, Penthelia, by the way. By the time it got to BWL and progress in BWL, it was pretty much everybody wanted us to get beaten by Burnt, because of the undisputed thing, and probably deservedly so. So everybody was cheering against us, and that was pretty funny. Leave Penthelia alone. No, I wouldn't. Fuck that guy.
A great story, by the way. Personally, I came a little bit late, so I did not see that phase 1, phase 2. I came in phase 3, so having original people on the stream talking about what happened in phase 1, phase 2 is always great. It's always cool. Okay. So you started doing speedrun in MC, basically at this point. So
Yeah,
you
yeah, I guess so.
okay. Uh, where did you fare overall when you were finished? Let's say right before phase 2. Where did you fare overall in that speed running business? Let's say.
I don't think very well. Like we wanted to prove a point, and then I think Kuroa was like, "Look, you you beat them on speed, and then they're just going to pick something else." And we didn't get it at the time. We didn't appreciate it. We've always known WoW to be about progress, and we hadn't been about for 15 years. You know, we didn't know about Warcraft logs. I think we were third or something like that. After Burnt and Consang. I think we ended up at top of Omen, but
Did you use any? I asked the question to Dollar last one. I think I need to ask you even more because you started speedrunning quite rapidly, if I can say. Did you prepare for the speedrun at that point in MC Flask, buff, world buff, all the stuff that today we do that is kind of mandatory, even though Guild say no, it's not, but it kind of is. So did you do that, all of this back in MC to approach that speedrun?
no, definitely not. World buffing and using consumables has never been mandatory in easy. We're, as far as we feel, we're a casual guild, and it's much stronger for people to want to do something than telling people that they have to. Now, if you look at our logs and Nax, you'll see everybody's buffed to the eyeballs. But that's because we've made it easy and everybody wants to do it. But then, even with our flasking, we don't really flask. I think the rule is that I've told everybody to have a flask ready in case you need it. Like if we need a bit of a push on KT, or we run out of mana and Saf, chug it. But nah, we don't really. We're not big on buffs or consumes, especially back then. We didn't get it at all.
Okay, so you kept the same, let's say, mentality of consume. I see Noxy saying we have flask. So you're keeping the same mentality since MC that everything that is consumed and world buff is not mandatory.
Exactly.
Before we step onto the BWL part, do you have any good moment? Oh, you sent me a video. Do you want me to run the video now? Or do you want to talk maybe about a funny moment, about something, a good memory from MC, something you want to share? Maybe something that the people don't know?
So, we are pretty against streaming in easy, and the big reason for that, like as in a guild member streaming the raid, we don't really like it. And we had this guy in the guild early doors as a tank called Life Metal, and he was not doing a lot, but seeing it on stream is somehow infuriating. So a few of us are watching him, and he thinks he's got like, oh, I've got 11 members. Here I go. I'm the next big thing on Twitch. But it was all us watching him, and he first of all clicker. You know, you get shamed for that.
Yeah, I know.
But then there was like on Gar, and he wasn't assigned to tank anything. And I said, Life Metal, you are the hero, right? I want you to be the guy that saves the warlocks, you know, run about, pick up the ads. And I remember him looking at a Gar ad running towards a warlock, and you can see him just go looking at it and be, nah. And he just ignores it, right? And then we do the trash after, and we assigned him to tank something, And we're like, where is he? Why has he not tanked it? And I look on his stream, and he's away. He had his fridge in the background, and he's making a sandwich. It was just an absolute nightmare. We ended up kicking him. Well, I say we, it was me. I kicked him at Ragnos for ninja pulling it. But yeah.
Oh, you kicked him during the raid?
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people weren't happy for me, but they didn't know how enraged I was by watching his stream all night and how little he gave a fuck about us, to be honest.
Oh, that's quite bad, actually.
Yeah. I guess we did have this speed run in MC. Burnt finished top, but we did have a run that was faster than that. But it was an invalid log on the last week. And it's an invalid log because on Warcraft logs and MC speedrun, you need to have killed 4 Molten Giants before engaging Lucifron. Right? That's the rule. And if you don't do that, the log is invalid. So with that introduction, you can play the video.
Hold on, let me find it. We'll go here.
A lot of the boys in chat know it's coming.
One second, it's coming. So. Oh, wait. Oh, this video, right?
Yeah.
Everybody
I'm loving the
sees.
chat.
No. There we go. Sound. We have sound. Let's put this on. Okay, so.
Is that definitely giants up there? All of them?
Do you have sound on it? Sound's kind of important.
Yeah, it is. It is 49 for sure.
Okay.
So explain to us what we are looking at, what we are hearing.
So we're doing a bit of trash clear just before going down the slope, and I say to Reax, should we not start? Basically, I'm like, should we start recording here because there's a molten giant we're killing? And I said, are you sure that there's 4 up the hill? And he says, yes, there's 4 up the hill. But then what happens is we go up the hill and we smash it and we get a time better than Burnt. And we're like, yes, here we go, easy, you know. And then the log's invalid. And when we watch back the VOD that Freiberg had recorded, you could see that it wasn't a molten giant, but it was a destroyer. So only 3 giants were killed before engaging Lucifron, which meant that we didn't get fastest time on speed. And we were pretty heartbroken after the work we'd put in.
And this, you said this was the last week as well?
Yeah, it was last week before BWL.
Okay, so yeah, I can understand why you were
Yeah.
You were, yeah.
But you know what? It's everybody's responsibility. I can't really put all the blame on Reax and Wing for that one.
A good question here, and I will actually ask you because he was our previous guest, Dollar, with the question. Ask Oleh about the invis spot usage by Burn during MC tier. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, it does. I need to say fuck Dollar for that one, basically, because I was just really confused at how Burnt had done a certain point, and I messaged Dollar and I was asked, I've heard about this using of invis pots, have they used the invis pots? And then he leaked that conversation just to make me look bad. But that was back when me and Dollar had issues and we're bestos now. But yeah, it's back in the day, a bit of drama.
Good. This closed the MC portion. how did you approach BWL? What was, after coming out of all of this, the progress being faring quite good on the progress, faring quite good on the speed running as well? How did you approach BWL? What was the first goal of BWL?
So BWL, I think that the preparation for BWL, I think, is when easy I've tried the hardest throughout all of Classic, because with all the banter that had gone on about Undisputed and the intense speed running against Burnt, and we had this really intense competition with Burnt going on for who was the #1 Horde guild, and we felt Progress was our strongest point, and we were going to go in to Blackwing Lair, and we did quite a good amount on strategy. I got some pretty big recruits, and we felt really confident about our chances. We got wind that Burnt had been on a private server practicing, so we felt, okay, we need to do that as well. And my other best mate in real life, GT, he set up a server for us, but it didn't really work. First of all, we go on and then people are all equipping themselves Hungering Colds and Thunder Furies and Full Dreadnought. And then there's people like me who spawned 3 Cthuns and crashed the server. So it was just a riot. It was so laggy, nothing worked. But again, to echo what Dollar said, we got to have a little look at what was going on in terms of the layout and where to stand at Firemaw after doing a slash kill on him because we couldn't do it. So put a lot of preparation in, and the biggest bit of preparation, especially for me, was we had 2.5 raids of people in the guild at this point. Yet we had one team to go in for Progress and go in at midnight. So, and it was my job to pick the team, and I had to make quite a lot of difficult decisions in regards to that, to pick the best comp and the best team that I thought for the night. And I remember agonizing for about 45 minutes over the last spot, and I was trying to pick between, I think it was Fred and Bison Fury at the time, and I said, you know what, I feel like one of them's going to pull aggro and wipe us, but I don't know which one. I don't know which one to pick, and I went with Bison Fury in the end.
Did he pull aggro?
He did. On Veil Shazam. I love Bison Fury. It's not a flame.
No, he's a good guy. I don't know him very much. I was in same guild as him, but he kind of left when I got there. So, but he seems like a really good guy. How did you fare on that Progress, that midnight hit? You guys went in with the best team you could put on. How did you fare?
Yeah, we did good Progress. It's midnight. We're like super up for it. Server Discord's filled with Consang going, lol, look at you nerds going in at midnight, how pathetic is that? All this chat, and but we were just like super focused on being Burnt at the time. And I mean, this is the yeah, exactly, Dollar's backing up here. But this is a time where like it's a lot of the OK guys are still in easy, and so they all remember this was pretty sweaty, and we really wanted to win. And we go in, and we're pretty well prepared, and we smash Razorgore, and it's like 16th in the world. Razorgore, we're ahead of Discipline. We are top of the world. We go into Veil, and then we're smashing it. Bison Fury pulls aggro, wipes the raid. Though I feel like we didn't have the melee on the far side of Veil at that point. We had them on the close side. So when the aggro was pulled, it went on to the casters. So good using Cam to describe this. So definitely a bit of strategy that I regret there. But we wiped, and lost our world buffs, which took a bit of the wind out of our sails. However, picked ourselves up, dusted ourselves off, and we did Veil the next attempt, and we did the trap room. And one time, what's he called?
Broodlord.
Broodlord, yeah. So we one time Broodlord, which is, that's a relief at that point because you don't have to do the trap room again. So I'm trying to get my team to not focus on what Burnt are doing, but at this point I know we're like 11 minutes behind.
Okay, because Burn was also at midnight in there, same as you. It was a race.
Yeah, it was discipline, Burnt, and easy.
Okay.
And we're sweating, right, and we're going for it. So I tried to pick up the pace a bit, and then we do Fire Maw, and we wipe on Fire Maw at like 3%, and Burnt kill it under very similar circumstances, but they are left with like 2 or 3 people alive at the end. But they killed it, and at that point they're like 20 minutes ahead. And then word got around the guild, the heads started to drop a bit because had 2 big wipes, and I think we wipe on both the Drakes once, and then I think we do Cro-Magus first time, and then we go to Neff and we wipe on Neff. No, we don't wipe on Neff. We purposefully wipe on Neff because of Tom Poss's harebrained scheme that he said we're behind anyway. So why don't we pull Neff so we can see the colours of the ads? I don't know if Tom Boss is in the chat and he knows I'm calling him out here. It wasn't you, Tom. All right, Tom's saying it's not him. Okay, so apologies to Tom. But we then had to wait 15 minutes and we forgot that. So we're then sitting there for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And all in all, we end up like an hour after Burn. But it was pretty close for the first half, and a lot of regrets.
But you did end up number 2 progress and kill everything on the first night, like when it got out. Do you remember at what time you got in at midnight? But at what time everything was clear?
I think it was like at 2:30, something like that. Like we were planning to be there until like 6 in the morning. We didn't know how long it was going to take, but again, it was disappointingly easy. And I've just got a bunch of messages from Easy members reminding me that it was Suck, Solish UK in the guild that did that and not Tom Boss. Sorry, Tom Boss. Thanks for keeping me right, guys.
So it was still fast. I think you said it. It was incredibly easy. Sadly.
Yeah, it was a bit of a disappointment.
How was the subsequent run? And I'm guessing you picked up at one point the speedrunning, since you came from speedrunning MC. I'm guessing you picked up the speedrunning in BWL as well.
Yeah, so again with BWL, we then, after the first week of putting our best team in, we then split the best players into the 2 groups.
Okay.
To just make sure that both teams completed it, and again tried to move away from the speed running thing, which quite honestly we felt was pretty dumb. But sometimes we got involved in to just prove that we could.
Quick question about having 2 teams. You said it was difficult, heartbreaking decision to pick what you thought was the best 40-man for the midnight run. Was there ever for MC, so after that midnight one, was there ever tension in having 2 raid teams? Because I know it can be quite difficult, right, to have 2 raid teams. It's a lot of people, a lot of different egos, mentality, and so on. Did you at any point struggle with having 2 teams?
Not initially. I think we handled it quite well. Where, like as I said, me and Kuro are best friends in real life. But what we did was that we split ourselves off, and I went and did the one team, and he led the other.
Okay.
And because of that, it was quite strong.
Okay.
So, and again, we made it very clear that we were picking the best. We were splitting the best people in the guild.
Okay.
So that was. And sorry, I've been logged out as well.
Yeah, we both
and
are.
now I'm now at the front of BWL, so we've ruined our spot. The PRD even.
It's okay.
It's a shame.
Yeah,
We'll move on.
yeah. So you guys split yourself in two. So you were, let's say, in charge of one team, while Kuruo was in charge of the other team.
Yeah.
Okay. So talk to us a little bit about the speedrunning in BWL.
So it eventually got to the stage where some people were saying that there was too much chat going on in one raid, and in the other raid there was too much silence and it was boring just listening to the raid leader. And it started like expanding where, you know, some people wanted to do speed and some people didn't. So then we started permanently splitting the people out between the two raids based on their preference.
Okay.
And I think that's when the crack started to show, because I think Easy was always very strong when we split our best, and then we came together for big events like Progress or a speedrun. But then there became this part of the guild that wanted to speedrun every week and got annoyed by certain guilds that we felt were beneath us clearing it faster because we'd split our best players and that kind of mentality. And a lot of people got quite a buzz off doing the MC speedrun, and we only really did two of them that they wanted to continue that on in BWL.
Did you so which team did you end up actually managing? Was it the speedrunning team or was the more?
Yeah, I was part of the more kind of speedrunning kind of hardcore mentality team.
Okay. And the other team was more casual, more let's just clear it in a normal kind of way.
Yeah, but I mean the performance of both teams were surprisingly similar.
Okay.
Like the casual team was finishing before the speed team regularly, and you know, it was just different approaches mostly. Like one team just wanted to chat and banter and laugh whilst playing, and the other one wanted to have quiet time with a raid leader giving instructions.
How did you fare on the speedrunning logs overall on the Horde side?
I think we had our moments, but we ended up fourth with my team that I read. Yeah, Ducko's in the chat and he's reminding that we were careful not to say one team was Team A and one team was Team B, so we called them Team Banana and Team Mango, just to pick random objects so nobody thought they were in the worst team or the better team, because we wanted to make that very clear.
It is important, and this is what I was thinking when I asked you the question, if you ever struggle, because I mean, having two teams, you will automatically or naturally say Team A, Team B, Team number 1, Team number 2, and it has negative side to it by saying Team A, Team B, Team 1, Team 2. So this is why I asked that question.
And it was mostly okay, but certain individuals were kind of pushing a competitive narrative between the two teams, which we did our best as officers to shut down. But it did harbour a bit of resentment, not only for not only for the team that wasn't in the speed team that felt the other one were elitist and looked down on them, but whenever the more hardcore one failed or were slower than the other one, it was really badly rubbed in by the other, and there was just a bit of kind of negative banter that the officers tried to step out, but I think that's inevitable.
Before I first of all, I'm gonna say there's more than 100 viewers right now. I'm really pleased, guys. Really happy that everyone turned in for this great interview so far. I'm having a lot of fun and I'm learning a lot about the OG, one of the OG of the server, right? Now, because that was a great introduction to the elephant in the room, I think. Before we go there, before we talk about what is okay and what is not okay, anything else you remember? A good story, a funny story about BWL, something that you remember that you want us to that you want to share with everybody?
I think the funniest moments there were there's a big meme that has carried on through the guild until now. That, and we talked about this the other night, and we're trying to remember the mage's name. And if it's you, please stand up and tell me what it is, right? But we're doing an easy pug in BWL, right? And we're doing Firemaw, and there's this mage that's standing out, and he's getting stack. And Kuroa's going, move in. And he's going, where? And he's like, left. Move left. And he eventually goes in. But then he, on comms, presses his button and shouts, what must I do? So anytime people don't know what they've to do, we do this, what must I do, to each other. And that's a bit of a good meme. Also, I think about this time we were doing, and this is straight up flaming, right? But it's got to be brought up, right? And you know who you are, boys. But we're doing ZG. Like, this is one of the funniest things we talk about all the time. We're doing ZG, and we've got Shrotic, our bear tanking, right? And he gets feared, right? And he's attacking therapeutic. And I don't know, is in a raid at the time, and he goes, sheep the bear, right? And I'm like, you can't shut up. And the therapeutic's like, shut up and sheep the bear. Why is nobody sheeping the bear? You can't sheep the bear. And there's this full-on argument. And me and Crow are just like, these guys think they're the most elite guys ever, and they think you can sheep a bear. I mean, so all the time we're on it. Like, anyone messes up, we're like, sheep the bear.
It's really funny to hear about every guild inside meme banter or just joke that has been running for so long. Every guild has them, and I find it always funny when
yeah, I think everybody can identify a bit.
Yeah.
Everybody's got some stories.
I know I can with my old guildies, with the new guildies that I have. I mean, super fun. One thing as well, before we continue, because last week Dollar talked about, when we were in BWL, Dollar talked about the gear. He was splitting to have more gear, and he said that in, I don't remember, in 63 run he had 0 DFT. Okay, I'm exaggerating, but that was basically what he said. They were really not lucky in having good gear, good warrior gear, good melee gear. You kept talking about Thunder Fury. I already know because you told me earlier, but I want you to tell our viewers, everybody, how many Thunder Fury, how many binding, how many Thunder Furies and so on that you guys got by running, by splitting, by having 2 teams and so on.
So I think a lot of people in Easy will be annoyed. in me saying that being lucky with loot, because we've been lucky in some loot. Phase 1 MC, we were so unlucky. I don't think we saw a Perdition's Blade. I think we got one in an alt run. We never saw a Viscag. We never saw Deathbringer. We got so unlucky with weapons, and the whole time we're seeing Burnt and get all these weapons, and we're getting pissed off about it. But BWL, things picked up very well for us. We got loads of DFTs. It was pretty much all our alts had DFT. We didn't do as well in Rejuve Gem, but pretty much everybody got it apart from Blossy, which is regrettable. But yeah, we did okay on that. But in terms of bindings, now bear in mind we were always running 3 runs, but we had 13 bindings in total that we've looted in the guild.
That's insane. Insane amount.
Yeah.
You must be, I mean, on our side, you must be the #1 guild in terms of binding, looting some binding for your guild.
Yeah, I definitely think so. But you've got to remember that we're running 3 runs. Yeah, sorry, Lund. Forgot about your Rejuve as well. But we had loads of hammers. We used to do posing and Ogrimmar for our legendaries, which was a bit obnoxious. But we had Ducko, Carlton, Janny, Pot Noodle, Reacts, Merrick's, Creel, Escape. Plus we had 3 more as well. One was on Cotmurin and one's on Brup. Yeah, so Brup's been waiting since phase 1 to get his Gar binding, and he's still not had it. So every week we still go and do Gar for him, and then every time he doesn't get it, you can hear him punching his desk and going mental, which is pretty much the highlight of our week. So we'll be really sad when he finally does get it. He goes absolutely crazy, and he's such a nice guy, and he's such a lovely, quiet guy, and you can just hear him go "fuck." So it's brilliant.
I feel for him if he's grinding it for phase 1. I feel a little bit for him. On the other side, I don't really feel for him because I remember battling him in the Caves for grinding amount, and he was pretty good at attacking mob. I don't know if you remember, Brup, but you pissed me off so bad back then. so this is the part of me that is less. But yeah, since phase 1 is pretty difficult. Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room. So, end of BWL, something happened. A new guild is formed called OK. New guild composed of ex-Easy member. I do not know, for I think everybody knows, I was in OK for quite a while. I do not know the story. I do not know what happened. I never kind of knew. I never didn't want to know it. I think it's for everything that happened, for every... I mean, let's not kid ourselves. The whole server knows. The whole server knows the war between Easy and OK. So, can you explain to us your side of it? What happened? What led to a guild, not disbanding, but a guild, half the guild going in one direction, the other half going in the other, and so on.
Right, so... yeah, I obviously knew that we were going to come to this eventually. So what happened was, now everybody thinks that it was just this one incident and that's the narrative from OK. But the way I saw it is I was a person that was trying to keep things together. And as I mentioned already, there was already a bit of friction between the 2 factions in the guild, one led by me and one led by Kuroa. Though having the unique aspect of having 2 best friends running a guild together, running the 2 raids, which kept it probably going longer than it would. But then there was a couple of big disagreements between the officers in that raid and officers in the other raid. The first one was Kuroa clashed heads big time with Reacts and Wing over how ZG was run. Now the officers didn't want to have to do raid sign-ups and plan it and all that. So what we did was we assigned, sorry, probably people don't care about ZG, but we assigned like captains, team captains, about 7 of them, 8 of them, of people that little gangs in the guilds of certain nationalities that like to play together, and who was going to run them. And Reax and Wing and Dexter were one group, like a Danish group, and they, rather than filling up and taking the 20, wanted to reduce it down to like a smaller group to do like mount runs. And Kuroa was very unhappy about that, because he knew that people were getting left out and didn't get to go to runs at the certain time they wanted to, and he was like cherry picking players, and there was some pretty heated arguments that I felt were going to end up in somebody leaving the guild in the officer chat. So that happened first, and then there was again a really big bust up over Blackwing Lair, where I went to Croa and I said, look, Reax and a few other guys that are really wanting to do this. And what it was it was the trash farm in BWL. And it was, you kill the first 2 packs up the stairs from Vale, and you leave a mob, and you reset it by jumping on the barrel, something like that. And you keep killing them, and you could get, from those ones, you got the healing boots and the melee cloak.
Okay.
And Kuroa was like, are you fucking serious? How dare you ask this? Brings Reax into the officer channel. What the fuck are you thinking? I've not played under the easy tag for 20 years to have you ruin it by cheating. And he's like, it's not cheating. And there was this massive clash that we never really recovered from, because basically Kuroa was calling Reax a cheat. So that happened, and then there was some really big cracks in the guild, and a lot of it was about getting world buffs, caring about world buffs, caring about consumables, and kind of that kind of difference between like an elitist gameplay style and the more casual one. So then it comes to, it's DMF week, and there's certain members in that other group that are trying to get buffs, and they're being elitist, and you know, the way that one group saw where they were looking down on them, and like this week is about us, you know, we're the more important group because, you know, it's DMF week kind of thing. So Kuroa's got an Oni head in his bag, and to spite them, drops the head off cooldown, right?
So this was was this the first, let's say, famous incident where you fuck with the buff? That you're
okay. This is it.
Okay.
But
Perfect.
I mean, at the same time, I make it out like he's like fuck you kind of thing, but it was really more like he thought it was funny. Like everybody kind of thought it was funny. Like a lot of the members that left for OK were on Discord and thought this was hilarious. And then Firein tries to reset it, and his priest is killed trying to reset it and stuff. And then there's like, I think there's a couple of people in chat slagging people, and it kind of just went a bit sour. And I don't think anyone expected it to be received in such a bad light. And I definitely think there's an element of us already being like, oh, we're horde number 1, you know, undisputed horde, then getting beat by burnt, and then doing this, you know. And also the as I mentioned at the start, that we ditched Wipe in Progress and Muffin Vendor to do our own run, and my aggressive recruiting, and that whole thing led to, you know, Easy are the big villains here, and it was, yeah. So that went down, and that was the moment that, you know, Wing decided I'm leaving. But we already had, like, me and Kuroa, we, as I said, we're all about redundancy, and we always plan that the show must go on, and we make sure that Easy continues and nobody's bigger than Easy. So we had already discussed the fact that we thought React, Wing, and Dexter were going to leave. And we were already kind of plotting an exit that wasn't going to cause us too much damage. Because Reax was an officer, you know, it was, and main tank and one run and doing raid leading as well. So it was a pretty difficult character to get rid of, but we knew that he was going to leave under his terms. So at that point, we're thinking, okay, him leaving might not be a bad thing. But then there was a couple of other characters that surprisingly were really upset about it. Like Bison Fury, for one, he was like, nah, I'm really upset about it. You know, a lot of my pals are pissed off that you guys did it. And I'm like, okay, I understand that. But then a group of Czech guys that we pretty much built the guild around, which was like Fipsy, Sari, Hunter, Valleybook, they were saying, you know, we were really unhappy about it, but they said, you know, we're sticking with Easy no matter what, you know. And it kind of just got really dirty at that point, where certain people started leaving, and then there was like 20, in fact, for a long time, for the first like week and a half of OK, there was like 16 people, and we were just memeing on the fact, like, you think you've left because you think you're better than us, you can't even fill a ZG run. But then Hunter, Sari, and Fipsy, and what's his name? Zinc. Yeah, Zinc. They all decided that they were going to leave as well, which was pretty. That was a pretty bad time, because we'd built the guild around them, and like I always felt like after Corona that I was going to go and visit these guys in the Czech Republic and visit Dexter and Reax. I even talked about going to Denmark to visit them. So it was all a bit of a surprise, and then they got up to like 25, and then they're just like trickling out. Like people wanted to play with their pals and stuff, and it like built up to about 30 odd members. Plus they brought back some old people that had quit, or like that I'd pissed off, or Crow had pissed off out the woodwork, like Starren and Best Fred. They wheeled them out just for the show and all this, and just like some really dirty tactics and stuff like Lost Fate left us. And I was like, Lost Fate, what are you talking about? At the time, he was Grab Fate. And I showed him a conversation between me and Reax saying, hey, Reax, Lost Fate really wants to join our team. Can we put him in? You know, I think he's got what it takes. And Reax said, no, this guy's shit, basically. And I show... Grab Fate's here in the chat. So I show Grab Fate the screenshot of React saying, no, he's not good enough for our run. I show it to him, and he still leaves with React. And at that point, I'm just like, what can I do at this point? Like, this is absolutely insane. And I'd love for Gravfate at this point to explain to me why he leaves after seeing that screenshot, because that's absolutely wild. And there was a few people that, you know, I brought the receipts out that React had talked shit about them. And then it was just turned on me, and there was some pretty vicious lies and stuff. Night Flipper,
I mean, people sometimes. I mean, I don't care. 10 years ago, I was gonna do it, but thank you.
I mean, whoever's writing that, they need to not hide behind a false name. I would be quite happy for them to write stuff like that.
That's
if they don't.
Whatever happened, I think you have a good point here. whatever happened, you're still here on Facecam talking about it. Props to you. You have my respect for that. One thing. Thank you for putting it out there. I think it gives a little bit more of a backstory to what happened. I want to. So I want to know. There's two things here. There's the buff, fucking up the buff that I will come back to later, and the OK thing. So they left. They left with a certain number of people. Obviously, it hurt your guild. It always hurt as well when you're an officer, when you're a GM, a co-GM, whatever you want to call it. It always hurt our egos when a lot of players, a lot of good players that you've been playing with for almost a year at that point, leave. Why maintaining the war between the two guilds? Why what was your thinking behind it?
So the reason for that, mostly, like, there was a lot of genuine emotion there, because these people that left, a lot of them felt that they were better than us, number one. Number two, you know, that was my team, right? Now, the fact that my team left, right, and I decided to stay, that's something I've not explained either, because actually, at some point, Croa realised, you know, this has gone down a lot worse than I thought. Like, I thought this was a prank, you know, I didn't realise it was going to be such a big thing that people were this upset about. So Sari convinced him to, you know, for us to move on, I want you to do a big apology to the guild. So he gets everybody at raid night, we pulled both teams together. Even after all these people leaving, we still had 2 teams of 40. Brings everybody in, and he does this amazing apology, so sincere. It talks through it all. And then even after that, Sari still decides to leave, which was we felt was pretty shady, considering he said that, like, if you do this apology, we'll move on from it. Also, the fact that when this was going down, Croa even offered to take his team away and make a separate guild. Said, look, happy to walk away with the boys here. And then we talked about me leaving with the team. And at the time, Freiberg was trying to mediate between me and Reax, because it had gone sour over some lies that I felt he'd told about me and vice versa. But Freiberg was still trying to get me in the picture, because a lot of the people still wanted to play with me and felt like I was an integral part of the raid success, which I believe I was as well. So, but then certain people jumped, pushed it happening, and Reax was saying that he didn't want me to be part of the leadership. And at that point, I kind of felt like it was a power grab rather than like doing it for the right reasons and splitting the guilds up. So then I did the kind of dramatic like scene from Wolf from Wall Street, where he walks in and he goes, "And I'm not leaving!" And I felt really good about this. And then Hunter and Sari leave, and I'm like, well, fuck. But anyway, so I stuck with the boys, and like, I'm sticking with my pals that I've known for 20 years, my real life pals, as if I was gonna do that anyway. And I'm really, really glad that I did. Although the reason that I had the bone to pick was a couple of things that, you know, first of all, okay, then go in, right, do their speed run, which was 7 minutes faster than the one that I led.
That's the towards the end of BWL, right?
Yeah, so it's like It's right at the end of BWL. My team, led by me, Easy, the same players as Easy, we did a 30-minute speedrun. With all my strategy, all my tactic that I worked on, mostly with place 2 of Havana Room, who's been a big help to Easy through everything. And then they go away with my strategy and they beat the score, but then it turns out that actually they couldn't fill the whole raid and it was backed up by Consang ults, like 4 or 5 of them. And also the fact that I felt that although they tried to make OK like this stand against the behaviour of EZ, when a lot of the members of OK, not naming any names, were involved and encouraged Kuroa to drop the Oni head, and laughed about it. And then Fipsy wasn't there that day, but then he came onto Discord the next day and he's like, "Fuck you guys, why did you not tell me there was a guild event going on? Will you please put a schedule up for it next time?" Because he thought it was brilliant. And that's like one of the main members of OK at the time. So there was definite parts of it OK that thought it was funny and encouraged Kuroa to do it, and then they ride off into the sunset wanting to be completely guilt-free, not wanting to have any drama, move on from it. So at that point I was like, fuck you guys, like that's not how things went down. You don't get to ride off in the sunset and pretend you were not part of the behaviour of EZ, right? It's like, especially Fipsy at the time, who was one of the worst defenders that I'd defended on the server Discord several times. So my mission at that point was, you know, you want to get dirty. What was the saying? Something about, if you want to get dirty, down, if you want to wrestle a pig, don't do it because you'll get dirty in the mud and the pig likes it. Something like that. So I just wanted to kind of dirty their rep with us, and that's why I continued. But a lot of it, like, I did have personal grudges with a few of them that I felt were good friends of mine, especially like through Corona and stuff, you know. Not a lot of us haven't done a lot of leaving the house, so people that play WoW with, like, they're your pals. And
Exactly.
a lot of these people I played with on a daily basis and I felt were my friends, so from a personal point of view I felt quite betrayed. But I also wanted, I didn't want my pals that stayed in EZ to feel like, you know, these guys felt they were better than us and left us behind, so I kind of wanted to stick with them and pick them up, and having that common enemy and that common goal to fight against is a very, very powerful thing, and a good thing for a leader to use to your advantage.
Indeed it is. Did that part work? Did you, I'm guessing you use it to your advantage, but did it motivate everyone else that left, that stayed in Easy, to do better, to show that they were better than, let's say, the runaway guild, the elitist runaway guild?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of the older members of Easy, like, we've got people that played in Inner Sanctum in vanilla. Like, one of our rogues, he was world first in Bloodfang tier, full Bloodfang tier 2. Like, top 50 celebrity, various other big guilds. Curse, we had a guy that was played in Curse. So we had all these players that were really big back in the day, but they're now dads, right? So it only took this to really get people riled up, and to stop playing casually and to show how good we were. And then really from there, I think that we blossomed a lot.
I think you did. We'll get to it in a moment, and I think it showed in next. I want to talk about the buff, let's say, trolling a little bit. I'll give you my perspective. So back then, I was not in OK. I was in Inferno, actually. And so the buff incident happened. I think everybody on the server, on our side, was the first time that they heard about Easy, let's say, and on the server server-wide event. First time they hear about Easy, they fuck the buff. These guys are fucking assholes. They fuck with the buff. That was my thinking also at that point. Then AQ hit, and I remember grinding for so many days, hours in a row for a fucking stupid mount. I'm seeing Tompos in the chat. He knows what I'm talking about. We battle Inferno and Easy battle in the same fucking hole for like 12 days straight. I got to know you. I got to get to know all the people a little bit better, like Vinsta, for example, since he's a shaman. He was a shaman. I don't know if he's playing still anymore, but back then, Vinsta, Tompos, Jenny. Jenny was a good friend. I actually, he was rich. He's rich today because of me, Jenny. For fuck's sake.
Yep. He's right because of me as well.
The number of goal I gave him, it's crazy. So I'm putting myself in the shoes of people. Is Easy is a bunch of assholes because they fuck with the buff. You did it once. I think you did it more than once. It's not clear. It's not. You said it was just for lols. Was it really just for lols? The first time, the second, maybe the third time? I don't know how many times you did. I think you did a few times. Was it just for lols? What was the just why? You kind of knew, or maybe you had an idea that people would be mad, knowing that the world buff are so fucking important for some people.
I mean, at the time, I don't think that. I mean, Easy certainly weren't taking world buffs seriously.
Okay.
And it was supposed to be funny. Genuinely, it was supposed to be a prank. Definitely from Crow's end, it was a bit of a fuck you at one half of the guild. But it was at no point did was it intended to piss off the whole server or have everyone hate us. Like, it was never about that. It was just it wasn't planned. It was just a silly moment that, you know, certain members of our guild were talking shit in guild chat about how we needed to take members of the other guild, the other raid, and kind of looking down on people, and they're waiting for the buffs, and it was a spur of the moment thing that Kuro did it. And he said to me in private that had he known that it was going to blow up in this way, he never would have done it.
Fair point. I'll give you what my feeling in our guild back then in Inferno. You probably had half the officer thinking it was funny because fucking world buff, and you had the other half. Yeah, and you had the other half. We were quite sad, mad, because it was the MF week as well, and some people you fuck with their buff. I'm actually one of the people that my mind changed. I was at the beginning. I was world buff. I need my world buff. Since a while, I don't give a fuck about world buff. So I don't know. And also, I was you actually a big part of me. After that grinding in AQ, I told myself never I will judge a guild anymore because I got to know you. I got to know everybody, or almost everybody that grinded from your guild, and all I saw was good people behind the facade of the buff fucking thing. I saw good people, and I'm actually glad that we had that moment.
Well, everyone in Easy is like they're all absolute sweethearts. They're like the nicest group of people ever. But it's me. I'm a bit of an asshole. I'm a troll. And Kuroa is as well. And we're the faces of the guild. And we're the ones that get involved in things outside the guild that we should or we shouldn't. But then so many times people come into the guild and they're like, wow, this wasn't what I was expecting, because it's just like we have no drama in the guild. Like, nobody's fighting with each other. It's just like a total loving. Yeah, it's just the reputation's probably just because of us rather than anyone else.
AQ.
Oh, and hold on, you mentioned a couple of things that we messed up other buffs we never did. There was one incident where I recruited some guy, and he was a brand new player, and he handed it in off schedule by accident.
There was not a mage, Ren mage something.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
There was the incident that Fipsy came on for OK and did it, and I got the blame for that. Like, people accused me of paying it, and people actually believed that I'm this mastermind criminal that paid a member of OK to do it. And people believe this. Like, people believe what they want to do. There's certain people on the Discord that if they if somebody said Easy eats babies with ketchup, they'd be like, fuck it, I knew it. I knew that Easy ate babies. You know what I mean? Like, over it.
That's quite funny. And during the fucking Fipsy incident, I got there was so anonymity during that incident. I've talked about it before, but yeah, I had people whispering me about it and stuff, and it was pretty sad actually. Okay, enough talking about the stupid word buff. And yes, I don't care because I can keep them. Thank you very much. Who said that? Aaron. Thank you, Aaron. Really funny. Let's talk about AQ. How did you approach AQ? What was your goal? Because let's remind everybody, you just lost a good portion of your players, your team, your personal team, if I might say. So I'm guessing you were feeling down. I think it's normal. You lost what you thought was fun. The players you've been playing it for quite a while. The team that you've been nurturing for quite a while. How did you approach AQ? What was the goal, and so on?
So, after all the drama, and especially after how intense it got between Easy and Burnt and Blackwing Lair, we decided that we were going to take ourselves out of the running. And we felt that we still had, although my team had left, I knew the talent that was left in Easy, but a lot of people just didn't care. But as I said, we had some really, really big players in Easy, and we still do. And it just took them to step up and to show it. So I felt confident about it going in, and I felt that if we went in at midnight, that we might get Horde first. However, we knew at this point that Consang were getting really strong. And also the fact that the drama and how intense it would be going head to head with OK, although we felt that OK were very weak. That when I say OK, I knew my team were weak on strategy, and were a bit zug-zug, and that Kuroa's team was stronger in terms of that. And I knew that Reacts was a bit of a choker when it came to the progress run. Like, on BWL, he was supposed to raid lead, and then an hour before it, he was like, I can't do it. And then Kuroa had to come in and do it. And Kuroa just remembers the tactics from vanilla, and just, I don't know how he does it. So he decided that, mostly for my health, I think, that we shouldn't do it. As much as I thought we could compete, we decided we're not going in at midnight. We're not going in Thursday. We're not going in Friday. We're not going in Saturday. we went in on the Sunday, so we were out of progress chat. We just wanted out of it. We wanted to play our own game at this point. Too much had happened. But then, of course, we do AQ, and it goes a bit better than... Well, not better than we expected, but I think other certain guilds do a lot worse than was expected. And we can't help ourselves at that point but troll. Even after saying that we wanted to stay out of it.
Were you, did you add enough to run 2 teams at the beginning of it? Or you...
Yeah.
Okay, so you did run 2 teams?
Yeah.
Okay.
But at that point, I think we were... Before we were running two 40-man raids in tandem, and then a third raid on a Monday with 20 alts and 20 other players that we were trialing. But at this point, I think we were doing 1 AQ 40 with a team and then taking 20 alts and the other 20 players in the second run.
Okay. First run on the Sunday. How did it went? It went...
It went really well. We cleared it all on the Sunday.
Nice. And that put you... that did put you quite high still on the progress, if I remember right.
I mean, not that I really paid attention because we of course didn't start until the Sunday. But looking at it now, we were 4th. But I knew that Titans, Consang, and OK went in at midnight. The only other person that's ahead of us is Rip, but I don't know when they started it.
Okay.
But yeah.
After that, the whole speed running of AQ was not a thing. If I go by logic, you're let's say you're all speedrunners left for OK. You were left with the more strategist, more casual player. So this is why we didn't see you on the board in terms of speedrunning in AQ. Am I right?
Yeah, we didn't care. Especially we felt kind of burnt by, forgive the pun, by all the speedrunning shit and all the stuff with OK that we're just over it at this point.
Anything else you want to add about AQ? I feel that the feedback I got, I told you earlier, the feedback I got from last week is the phase AQ is kind of boring versus Nax. I want to spend more time in Nax. Anything you want to add on that AQ phase from your side?
Yeah, just to clarify, when I said we did it all one night, the Sunday it was to Cthulhu, and we went back to the next day and did Viscadus and Uro.
Yes.
No.
Dollar mentioned last week that the Warcraft log considered the whole instance clear once you kill Cthulhu. So I'm guessing you did like every other guild, was left Viscidus and whatever other bosses you could for the day after, and the goal was to kill Cthulhu fastest.
Well, I mean, not really so much. We knew that we wanted to get Cthulhu down that day. But we went in and we did Bug Trio after Scaram. So it wasn't like we were racing for it, we weren't really going for it. But then after we did Cthulhu, we went back and we had to try Uro. And I think we'd run out of time at that point and we were already buzzed about getting Cthulhu down. So we just left. I don't even think we were going to go in and do Viscadus and Uro, but I think we kind of looked at how OK's progress was going, and we thought it would be... because they hadn't killed Cthulhu at that point. So we were, like, absolutely buzzing about that. Like, we just thought it was so funny after everything had gone wrong, and we were basically partying. But then, so the officers decided, like, we need to close the door on it, since you guys are talking so much shit, that we need to go in there the next day and finish the job, or it's going to come back and bite you for chatting shit, basically. So, yeah, we went in and finished it.
So the day after, you kill Vicidus and what other boss you said?
Uro.
Uro.
Rice
Okay.
Krispies. Yeah, we call it Rice Krispies, boss.
I think a lot of guild did that as well. Kill Vicidus and Uro at the end once the progress on Ketun was done. Perfect. Let's get rid of phase 5, which in my eyes, and I think the majority of players, the worst phase ever in Classic.
Oh, the other thing that cracks people up about our EQ runs is that when I'm raid leading, I call the what they call the Sphinxes, the obsidian, whatever, the things you need to mana drain. I call them mana horses. And that seems to crack people up.
The mana horses.
Yeah.
It is quite.
I think that's caught on a bit.
It's quite funny. I don't even know the name of the mod.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
I don't remember. Anyway, like I said, AQ is the worst phase of Obsidian Destroyers. Thank you, Naxi. AQ is the worst phase.
Thank you, Moxie.
The worst phase in Classic and Vanilla. The event, the opening of the gate is super fun event, and it sucks that Blizzard didn't learn. We had such...
Yeah, we chose Tom Post to do our bug for, and that was a really cool thing. Though, and you said you got a lot of respect for Easy at that point. Well, we got so much respect for Inferna at that point. Like, we just loved hanging out with you guys and competing against you guys. But see Tompos, the guy's got a terrible stinking attitude, right? He's an arsehole, but he's our arsehole. And the fact that we did this for him, right? And right now he's on a break because he didn't get a heal for 6 seconds in Naxxramas, right? But you'll come back. But he doesn't know how, like, he's Tompos, nicest guy in the guild, he's chatting in chat, right? He knows himself, right? His attitude is the worst. But we love him, he's our guy. And I broke a mouse for him to get him his stupid mouse from, scrolling the mouse constantly with the macro, trying to get the Scarab Lord shit for him. So, yeah, shit healers, mate.
There's a lot of people, I think, that can relate. Tompos, Scarab Lord brother, my friend. Okay, next. I want to talk about the number 2 guild progress in Nax. I think from where I stand and from all the server on Horde side stand, it was quite a surprise having you as Horde guild number 2. How did you approach Nax? What did you wanted to achieve when Nax hit?
Well, first of all, I want to say that we weren't surprised. Like, we know we're good. But again, we didn't want to be involved in the drama, so we went on a Sunday. Like, we didn't go in at midnight or anything, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, at this point, I think we were quite well prepared, but not in terms of a bit of strategy. Carlton did a lot of work. I did a lot of work. Got such a great officer team in Easy, and everybody chips in. And I think maybe a couple of, but we're not, like, as I said, we're a casual guild. We don't do, at this point, where there's no talk of doing private servers or any of that bullshit, and we don't have a YouTube channel where we dissect the raid or anything. We're really casual, looking at UT&T. So we just went to do our thing, but we knew what we were doing, and we'd done 5 of the bosses in vanilla, so we felt pretty confident. So, but 2 hours before the raid...
Which 5 bosses? If I can interrupt you, I'm sorry. Which 5 bosses?
Yeah, sorry.
Which 5 bosses did you do in vanilla?
Spider, Wing, Vesuvius, and Noth, maybe?
Okay. Okay. So the usual, let's say, bit more easier bosses, if I can say.
Can you do North? I can't remember. But we did 5 bosses anyway, and
Okay.
yeah, the easier ones.
Okay.
So a couple hours before it, I say to the officers, let's be bold and let's do Abomination Wing, where we'd already discussed, first of all, that we're going to do Spider Wing. Just get out of the way, it's easy. But I wanted to make the most of the world buffs and do Abomination Wing. And then the other officers were like, but what if we wipe? I'm like, not going to wipe. I believe in our guys, it's going to be fine. But we go down there, clear Abomination Wing, we did pretty well in the trash. Again, it's looking super easy, we're kind of worried about how easy it is. And then we try Patchwork, and we wipe. I think we wipe 3 times in Patchwork, to the point that we think, okay, we can't do this without world buffs at this point. So we quickly decide to get people's morale back up and go to Spiderwing. So we do a Nubracan, and we wipe. And I'm just like, this can't be happening. Please, God, no. So I think at this point we have some classic easy and Croa kind of speeches where we get everybody's morale up and going. So then we do a Nubracan, and then I think we one time the rest of Spiderwing. Then I think we did 4 wipes in Heigen and killed it. Then we tried Lotheb and we wiped. No, I swear, Dollar, we wiped in a Nubracan. And then we did some tries in Vesuvius, but I couldn't quite. It was on me. I couldn't quite get the pool right, and although I think our log shows 0 wipes, I think we tried it like 3 times or something.
So you were the priest who was emceeing at first? Okay.
And the night before, I'd been slagging Waldau for not getting it right and okay. Like, I was giving it to him tight. So at this point, I'm like, it's harder than I thought. It's like, because I did it in vanilla as well. I was the MC priest in vanilla, and I don't remember it being that hard to get the pool right. I just don't know what was going on. So we finish off 5 bosses down, and I'm a bit disappointed. I don't know how the rest of the guild saw it, but we always try and stay very positive and easy, even in the face of defeat. But at that point, I go away and I do a bit of work on the strategy and figure it out. And Carlton's helping, Croa's helping, Zell, Shrotic, Barley, Isan. Like, hope I'm clearly forgetting people. At this point, Mango wasn't. But, and a lot of, like, there's a lot of people that are not officers in the guild that act as officers, but they just don't want that power, and they do a lot of work behind the scenes, like Chandri and Savras and stuff that kind of help with that kind of stuff as well. Ganga. So we go away, put a lot of work in, and then we come back refreshed on the Monday world buffs. Straight in. Sorry, Ducko. Oh my god, I forgot Ducko. Sorry, Duck. No, I feel bad. Anyway, I knew I was going to forget somebody. I'm under pressure here. I've got light.
If you start saying name in your guild, of course.
Yeah, I started regretting it. I started just listening, and I was like, I just need to stop at this point. I'm never going. I've met Ducko in real life, right? He's my boy, and I'm never going to live this one down. He's going to hate me forever now. So, a lot of pressure, Ducko. Like anyone can have a nosebleed here. Cineraria's just said that I've forgotten him, but fuck you, you're not a real officer. No, you are right now. You are now. So we then go back on the Monday refreshed, and we one-time patchwork, buzzed. Then Robulus, Trash Mob, the dog. What's the dog even called? Trash Mob. Wipe 3 times in Thaddeus. Shouldn't wipe in Thaddeus ever. Really gets my goat. I did forget Raining Creel Jar. Thank you so much. Like, I mean, I might as well just like list every member of the guild at this point, to be honest, because everybody's an absolute diamond. So, we have 3 wipes in Thaddeus, and in my opinion, you should never wipe in Thaddeus. Like, I get so mad at people getting that wrong. I mean, how do you get that wrong? Anyway, we try twice more on Loa Theb, can't quite get it. I figure out the Vesuvius pool, and I don't know if anyone else does it like this, but the way I did it was I cast Fortitude over and over on myself and take myself down to 700 mana, and I get 2 priests to Mind Soothe, and then I move in and I Mind Control. So when I have Mind Control, I've got no mana left. So when his shout comes, I don't take any damage. And then the other priest picks it up, I go around the side, and I get innervated or I take a potion or whatever. And I don't know that's the way we've ended up doing it. I think it's probably overcomplicating things.
Take notes, guys. Take notes.
Yeah, take notes. Like, that's the way I ended up doing it. And at this point, Loa Theb seems like a real problem. Like, we're not. It looks like that's going to be the end for us. But because of this night, we're now 11 bosses down, and it's raising eyebrows. Right, we're not surprised, but as you said, people were surprised, and we're doing better than okay. And at this point, I think we've won a lot of people over, and there's people that are rooting for easy. They see the story arc, they see the fact that these are people that have left us, thought we were better, and here we are. Redemption story, like it's like in the movies, you know, like people get behind it, and I'm very thankful for everyone out the guild that got behind us on it. But it's at this point that, you know, you can't be too proud, right? And I think that other guilds have made this mistake. So I spend the whole day on Tuesday speaking to Place 2 from Havana Room, Harloon from Discipline, and Dolar, of course, from Consang. The whole day I'm in meetings, like serious meetings in Discord, going through the strategy, figuring it out, and I take the pieces of everything that I like from everybody's strategies and I paste it all together. Like, we've got like this spreadsheet, like, and I've stolen things from everybody and I put it together, and it's an absolute riot. Like, I've only just fixed our Saffron spreadsheet, but the KT one has got like the graphic from Discipline, but no, it's got the strategy from Discipline, but the graphic from Havana Room. Like, it's an absolute mess. But anyway, we had this great relationship with Harloon and Place 2 for Place 1, Place 2 in Havana Room for a long time. So I knew I could reach out to them. Harloon, we had a lot of interactions with over world bosses, and there was this big conspiracy that Easy was colluding with Discipline on them. And Kuro himself struck up a friendship with Harloon, and to the extent that one time they gave us a Kazakh. And, you know, we've always loved Discipline since then. And then there was the Sorry to go off on a tangent, Azuma. Is this okay?
You go. It's your time, my man. You go.
Okay. So there was a time where the rend buff started being a big thing for Alliance, and they all start coming to Crossroads to get their rend buff. So one day, a few of us are out there, and we kill some Alliance trying to get their buffs. At this point, they don't know that you can duel, and the duel's enough to make you into the other faction to get it. So they're actually putting PvP on, stupidly. So we kill them, and then I decide this is pretty funny. I'm going to the server Discord, and I'm going to write Easy is protecting Crossroads for the Horde. Nobody's allowed to get buffs from the Alliance. How dare you steal our rent? Right? I just thought it was funny banter. But then I started getting tales from Alliance Guild saying, please, could you not kill us when we come to get our rent? We'll pay you. Right? We'd been to Crossroads once, and I'm sorry for your Alliance Guilds that paid me money that are realising this now, but we really were not defending Crossroads. I mean, a couple of us were. I think me and Fipsy did it a lot.
You really got gold from Alliance player because they did not want to get killed in Crossroads?
Yeah, like 300 gold a time, pretty much. And then place 1, place 2, GM of Havana Room approaches me and offers me gold to not kill them. And I go, At this point, Havana Room were fastest speed run of BWL in front of Discipline, I think. Was it BWL? Yeah. Yeah, it was BWL. And I go, how about, instead of paying me gold, you look at my logs and show me how I can improve things. And he loves it. That guy loves it. And he spent so much time with me, and we built up this good friendship, and ever so often he just shoots me a message. He goes, what the fuck are your warriors doing, or whatever. So we had this great relationship going with Discipline in the banner room. So they were the first guys that I reached out to for some advice, because there's only so many guys you can read and stuff, but being able to talk it through about how it works with your raid and stuff is absolutely invaluable. And then of course I approached Dolar as well, which I'm sure he appreciated, because I think a bit of the friction between Consang and OK was that they never approached Dolar and Consang for help because they felt that they were better, and there was this kind of arrogance that I think soured the good relationship that Consang and OK had. Sorry if I'm putting words in anyone's mouths, guys, but that's the way I saw it. So thank you so much to those three for the help and advice we got. We went in the next day, we one time Lotheb, we do 5 attempts on Horseman, kill it, and then we have a look at Saffron. And I think Karoa didn't want to try at this point. He thought it was a kind of waste of time and we didn't have a good strategy for it, but I wanted to have a look at it. So we got a couple of wipes on it. Next day we go in and I think we had... No, I think that's as much as we did the first week. Yeah, that's where we stopped. So the second week, we get 11 bosses on Thursday, and we had some wipes in 4 Horsemen and 1 in Gothic. But then we come back on the Sunday, and we one time Lotheb, one time 4 Horsemen, and we have 8 tries on staff, and we're clearly doing it wrong. And I think a lot of people discovered now that using too much too much frost raise is the problem there, you know, especially when you reduce your stamina and you have green gear. So again, go to my pals, Dolar, Vanaroom, Discipline, figure it out, make a strategy, and then Monday we come in and we one time it, and then we're on KT, and we wipe the first attempt, but we want to keep going. Then we get it down to like 15%, and people are saying, "Oh, you can't do it without world buffs," and I'm like, I do this big speech about it, saying how much it will mean for the guild if we do it, and we just need to pop all the consumables and use flasks and all that, and how easy and doable I think it is, and we go for it and we kill it, and it's awesome. Loved it.
At this point, you were or second on progress on
after-
KT.
Yeah, after starting late as well, so I guess we got a bit less time. But obviously, Consang were so well prepared for it, and they did the like we were pretty casual in our preparation for it. But thanks to the help we got, but compared to the work that the Consang put in for number one, we can't compare ourselves to that. You know, we did nothing like that in terms of work.
What was the most important thing, or the most important thing for you, for your guild, obviously, to be able to clear it, to be number 2 guild? Would you say it was the help you got? Would it say that it was the member getting to know the fight, doing their homework, basically, all the preparation? Was there a defining moment, or it was more of everything put together?
I think it's a mixture of everything. But I as I said, I felt we always had it in us. You said like it was a surprise to a lot of people and it raised a lot of eyebrows, but we were already, you know, doing 11 before any of that. So I felt really really positive about it. And at this time, like, and right now and at that time, Easy just felt so tight. And I think we've got OK to thank for that a lot, but we just had this real group that we were really all working for each other, and we set up this crazy buff network. So even the people that, because big thing in Easy, we don't force anyone to do anything, but we made this ridiculous summon network. I think it's better than anyone's summon network, where we summon people everywhere, to make getting buffs easy. Where people that can't afford consumables were like here buying it for them. Summons 2 Nax. Thanks, Kanga and Chandri. I need to stop mentioning names or I'll offend people again. But yeah, we just dug deep and we're just a great team, and I think that was the main reason.
Anything else from the AQ? Hey, we're 2 hours, more than 2 hours in. I feel I could go on for another hour. Anything else from Nax that you think is worth mentioning, either from your team, either from whatever? I think for me, I think the accomplishment that you guys did speaks for itself. It speaks volume. Okay, let's do this if you want. Today there's still quite a few guilds that are struggling in Nax, the later boss. We all know them: Four Horsemen, Saphiron, KT. What is the best piece of advice you can give to those upcoming guilds, to those more casual guild, even more casual than you, what's the best piece of advice you can give them?
Well, first of all, don't give up. Because there's a lot of guilds folding at the moment. And we've talked about this already, that I'm kind of worried about that and where the money goes from the guild banks and what people's motivations are for folding the guilds. So I don't want anyone to give up. Also, write it all down. If it's on a spreadsheet, if it's on pictures, you need to, for Saffron and KT, to write down where everybody's standing at all times. Phase 1, Phase 2 Saf. Regardless of what your tactic is, you need to write that down. And for KT, you need to know who's standing everywhere. You need to know exactly who's standing in what warrior group and who's interrupting, who's shackling. Don't think you're overcomplicating it and the tactics for those fights. Write it all down, assign everything, and that's how to get it done.
Really, really great piece of advice, everybody. If you are currently struggling either on Saf or KT, this is something you want to look into. Just what he said. What's next for you guys? What's next for you as a player? You're the first one. You're actually the second one, but you're the first one I speak with after the TBC announcement. What's next for you as a player, and what's next for Easy as a guild?
So, you know, the game's finished for a lot of people. And I think also, I've just remembered that I do a lot of the impassioned speeches mid-raid, but I think what really pushed us on as well was Kroa. He offline does a lot of the convincing and leadership and winning people around. And I think what he was saying to people was, do you want to complete Nax in 2020 or in 2021? And I felt that was pretty powerful, and it really pushed us on to do it. I think TBC, like, we don't have a date. Shrug. There's people that are. We've had a bunch of people that KT was down. That they quit, and they told us they were going to do that at the start, and that was fine. And we had a bunch of people that worked for the NHS, in the UK, the health service, and doctors and people that run admin and vaccination centres and stuff. And they, of course, had to devote their time to saving lives. So, and I know there's people that are loving doing NAC still. I'm one of them. I know there's people that aren't so much. And right now, I'm just trying to get new blood in. And we got a bunch of the top players from Rampage recently, who are all like chomping on the bit to get the content done and loving it. And when you keep bringing in people that are loving it, it really keeps you going. Right now, I'm the second Atish in the guild, so I want to get that finished. Just so I can troll people and portal them to Karazhan, mostly. And then keep going, get Brup his Thunder Fury, and then do what everybody wants to do with the Classic. I know there's a bunch of our guys that are playing retail now to kind of fill the time between raids. Yeah, and there's like people that are really not feeling it, that are burnt out. They're on a break right now because we've got all these guys from Rampage. So, and I know like people just drop off ever so often, especially as you're doing Nax and there's nothing after it, that they're just going to fall off. So at that point, if I really need them, I'll be like, guys, can you come help me out here? So just basically to keep raiding until TBC comes out, keep the show going on, And TBC, who knows? Obviously, we want to keep all the players we've got, so as many teams as that, we'll try and run. But we have no solid plans. We always just see how the cards land and audible it at the time. But me and Kuroa, we always have late night chats where we war game pretty much every scenario that's going to happen, and we make sure that we know what we do if certain thing happens, if certain person leaves, if certain person quits. What do we do? And we've always got a plan, and we always plan it ahead. And I think that's a big reason that we've gone on for 20 years, because of that kind of level of wargaming that we enjoy. So, I'm sorry that's not a solid answer about what happens in TBC, but we've done it before. We did everything up until Sunwell, and we did the first boss in Sunwell. Caligos, is it? Is that the name? Some dragon name. And honestly, we killed it, and we all just kind of felt empty, and we thought, why are we doing this again? There's going to be a new expansion. What's the point? And we all quit. Like, everybody, like, it wasn't like the guild's leadership wanted to and people stayed on. Pretty much the whole guild just quit. It was just this feeling of, why the fuck do we want to do Sunwell Plateau? Regrets. Now I want to do it. Like, it's we then in Easy we've done all the content through all of WoW, apart from BFA. We never did BFA. But never thought that I would want to do Sunwell. So that's going to be our goal. Our goal in in Classic was always that we want to do kill KT and get Zella's Atish. So our goal is Sunwell Plateau, TBC.
You gave me a bone to pick. You talk about Classic, finishing Classic. You recruited Rampage players. I see your shit hot logs behind. Yes.
You're in here, by the way.
Am I?
Yeah.
Oh, I feel special.
Yeah, so yeah.
I feel special. Thank you.
Yeah.
Where does that came from? The shit hot logs?
Oh, it was because I think at the time I needed a warrior. So I spend a lot of time on Warcraft logs trying to find players, and it's not always the people at the top of the damage, especially warrior DPS, because it's very raid DPS dependent. So I was looking at guilds with low raid DPS, but warriors that were about 70% of the parsees that I thought in easy raid DPS they're 90, right? So I make a list and I go through it. I'm giving away too much here. But then I was messaging people, and my line at the time, I've always got some line, right? I'm saying, hey, X person, you've got shit hot logs. Do you want to discuss joining Easy? And I did it too much, and it became a meme, and I got slagged for it. So,
and
like the +1s in the chat for people that have received shit hot logs message.
+1 in the chat, people. I see Dollar. Oh.
Dollar's lying. I've never approached Dollar.
You never approached Dollar?
I might have in vanilla. In phase 1.
Okay.
I probably did and got shit for it. But he never got the shit hot logs message, that's for sure.
So I'm guessing you're still your let's say your aggressive recruitment will still be going. In fact, my question is it what needs to be done today to keep your guild running? Do you need to do that? I'm speaking. Let's say you would give advice to other GMs that are struggling, because I think there's a lot of GMs that are struggling to recruit people. Is it a good tactic to use, being a little bit more aggressive on the recruitment?
So right now I'm not recruiting. People think I'm on the recruit all the time, but we have I think we had 47 sign-ups for Raid last time, thanks to the influx in from Rampage. So at that point, we kind of we do a bench rotation of players, because people are going to naturally drop off. I think for next week it's now 44, so 3 players that signed up the previous week. But the thing is, as I said, we're a really casual guild, and nobody's expected to show up every week, right? I mean, there's certain people that have not missed a raid since the start, like myself.
Yeah.
But you know, we don't make anyone. So if you got real life stuff on, fine. I've got a guy to replace you. You know, we always make sure we've got people in the back burner to bring in, and we make it fair. We don't say, "Oh, this person's the best" or "this person's the worst." We rotate people about and give everybody a chance. We make sure people get in the boss that they want for their loot and that kind of stuff. But when there's a moment that I feel that we don't have enough, like for recently it was shamans, and I was really aggressively recruiting shamans. And you never know like what situation people are in, so I approach people, you know, people call it like poaching and they give me shit for it. This is what happens in real life. You know, if people are happy in their guild, they're not going to listen to me. Like, I'm not manipulating people, and I'm very straightforward at the start of the chat. I say it's a recruitment message, this is what I'm talking about. And then, like, there was a guy that I messaged recently by accident. He was the GM of his guild. I'm not going to name any names, but he said, "No, like I'm the GM, but I appreciate the fact that you've noticed my potential." And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely, man, you're doing great." And he said, "Tell you what, see if my my group of guys can't complete Nax, I'll hit you up, please." And I was like, "Sure, man. And you know what? If you need any help with strategy, hit me up. Happy to do that." But obviously, there's people that take it immediately the wrong way, and that's absolutely fine. And they'll flame me, whatever. People are absolutely entitled to feel that way. Certain people think that it's absolutely acceptable, like in work, people get headhunted. And I don't just mass message everybody. I pick the people that I want based on their performance and if I think they're going to be a good fit for the guild. And I approach them. Like, not everybody responds to the message, and it's been successful for us, so why would I stop doing it? It's my stance on it.
Good. I really, really like your head-hunting comparison. I think it really is that in the end. Of course, people will say stop poaching our players and so on and so forth. But like you said, if the person is happy with his guild, why he would even talk to you? I mean, if he talks to you, it's because there's a reason. So I treat it. I have the same philosophy as you. I treat it as head-hunting. If you're happy in the guild you are, there's no reason for you to go check elsewhere. That's it.
It's a person, not an endangered elephant. You know.
Exactly. Cool. Anything you want to add to this really wonderful night, the wonderful time we had together tonight?
Yeah, it's been great. No, we can go and do some questions from chat and stuff if you want.
I
to
have
go over other.
exactly. Chat, if you ask question, now's the time. I'll take one question from chat that I asked earlier. The Easy Academy. Can you talk a little bit about the Easy Academy? What was it? Is it still going on? What is?
So-
Because I didn't know, I didn't knew about it. I find out today there was an Easy Academy. I want to know a little bit more about it.
So I'm not sure if this is a troll or not, but it was like my recruitment messages are always a bit of a meme. Like I always do something to kind of provoke and to get people talking about it. And that's advertising, right? And the fact that people talk about some funny thing I've said in it, even in the negative light, then that's my intention. And by now, most people know that I'm a troll and I'm looking for attention and they give it to me, and people enjoy that. But there's still people that have got problems with me, and that's absolutely fine. But this was a particular recruitment message where I said that I came across a lot of pushback when talking to people that had left the guild and they were not gilded, and I wanted this person, and they're like, "Nah, easy too hardcore for me. I can't afford the consumables to be an easy." And I'm like, "Well, you're in this guild that wipes 20 times a night, right? And takes 3 times as long. The price of consumables is going to be less with us. Oh, I don't want to get world buffs. Fine, don't get world buffs. You can still join. I'll encourage you to get world buffs by summing you a place, so you have to do 0 effort." So I was fighting that, and at this point, I think OK had left, and we still had a lot of people. Like we were always running 2 raids, but I think at this point we were doing it with alts, and I think we wanted to maintain the same amount of raids that we always did. So at the time,
No
GTB,
TTS.
Don't
Who's
care.
now
Now
Drop them
just
bits.
a game,
GG
and was in the
interview.
guild, and he was running loads of pugs. And there were so many cool guys that were in these pugs that, you know, they weren't maybe the best of players, but they were just fucking cool guys. You know that way, like, and I just wanted to play with them and be around them. So we had this idea that we were just, for a while, just going to open our doors to anyone. And know that these people were not main raiders or whatever. And then hope that just being around us and being around the very talented class leaders that we have in the guild, that they would pick stuff up and become, you know, heroes of the future. I think, I don't know if it was that successful, but we did get a couple of really big players for us from it, which was Luthis and Dead Butcher. And Dead Butcher is like, he's so integral to our raids, and he's a tank that does DPS that switches onto Shaman when we need it, and that was through that kind of recruiting from the pugs and just, you know, going for it, and basically chucking like shit at a wall and seeing what sticks was the approach. But not just that, like throwing people in the deep end, seeing who swims, but also giving them the tools and trying to teach people. And if they had the right attitude, then they could end up thriving. I think even I was thinking like Merrick's we took from Release the Penguins at that point, and he came in and we ended up giving him a Thunder Fury because he became such a big member of the guild. He might have had the binding already, but yeah, there was a moment in Easy's history where we wanted more players, and no, sorry, it was Johnny from Release the Penguins, and Merrick's was from the Pug. So yeah, Merrick's was one of them as well.
How long did it last? That pug, that Easy Academy, did it last for long?
I think we did it like for a few months, but I thought it was a great idea, but I just didn't have the time to put in the required effort to it. And also GTB disappeared off to another server and stopped doing the pugs, which was the main source for finding the talent.
It is a great idea. I'm with you on this. It looks super cool, and I think it's something cool to do for the people that don't raid, that never raided back in vanilla, or actually never played vanilla. They just heard about WoW. They're playing retail. They heard about classic. They want to live classic because they never got to play it and raid and so on and so forth. So it's really a great idea. Props to you. I think.
And it's the same kind of philosophy that right now, like, people are like giving me shit for poaching or aggressively recruiting or whatever you want to say. But there's people here that are, like, the way I saw it, they're stuck in guilds that are never going to complete the content. And some of these guys are 20 years old. They didn't do it in vanilla either, or they didn't. And I want people to complete it. Like, every time we get a new member in, and they hadn't done KT before doing it with us, like, who's done KT for the first time tonight? We're like, oh, grats, man, well done. It's such a buzz to have this shell for people to come in and then, you know, complete the content with. And if they want to go hang out with their pals again in TBC, sure, you know, like, not stopping anybody, but
it is, I think, anybody who's doing anything for the community, I think is a great props to them. There's there's a time for banter, there's a time for war, there's also a time for community, there's also a time to teach other and have fun and just play the game for what it's meant to be, having fun, having a sense of community and so on.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really... The way I saw the community of Mirage-Raceway early on in, like, phase 1 was I hated the server Discord and I hated the community, because I felt like, because we butted heads with Muffin Vendor so hard, and Gumball was running the server Discord, we felt like it was just a propaganda machine to shit on easy for the fact that we ditched Muffin Vendor and Wipe in Progress to go on our own. So I just hated it, but now I think it's brilliant. I don't have a problem with anyone in the community really, apart from a couple of people. One of them was in the chat earlier and wanted me to mention his name, but I will not mention his name. I don't want to give him the satisfaction. But apart from that, I think the only person in the server that's a bad apple is Tamsin, and fuck Tamsin. He sends me these long mails in game where he tells me shit about poaching members from Sharks and how they're all shit, and slagging off Noxie and Macross and Sandal and all this, and then he writes me 2-page letters, and then he writes, "Don't bother replying. You mean nothing to me. You're not worth a response," or something. And it's like, if you really feel like that, why are you writing me 2-page letters? So I think most people can agree that he's an absolute idiot. But apart from him, love everybody else.
Yeah, I think I can relate to that. I think I can relate to that. I have a lot of friends that think he's not a really cool person. And personally, I think Shark will not come on this show because of people like him. So that's what I think. I saw a question, actually Meat had a question. I am going to change a little bit this question because it's too much related to something that but the question is good. The feeling that a lot of people have, I think that maybe I had before, was, are you friends with anyone that left easy?
Sorry, you've cut out.
Oh, are you? Is it okay? Are you? Do you hear me now? Yes. No.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So the question was, are you friend? Did you keep friend with anybody that left easy?
Yep.
Okay. No names. I don't want to know. Cool.
I was friends still with plenty of people in OK. Though I don't want to expose their friendship with
No,
me.
it's fine. I don't think we were friends, but I think we had mutual respect. Even though I wasn't okay, I always try.
For sure.
I always try to keep neutral because I came after all this shit. We even had a chat, you and I, the day I joined OK, and explained to you my mindset. And from that day, because we knew each other in the AQ bug hunt, I think we had that respect, that mutual respect. I had another question. I have a question. Dollar with this question. What are easy goal and ambition for TBC? Will you try and compete? Also, how many rate teams will you have? Hey, that's a good question. I wanted to ask you.
I think you had asked me that already, and I don't really know.
Yeah.
As I said, me and Kuroa have war gamed every scenario, and I think we just need to see how the cards lie, who's going to end up playing with us in TBC, who levels to what is it, 70? Don't even know.
If you had to choose,
What is it, 17 TBC?
70 years. If you had to choose between progress and speedrun, which one do you prefer?
Progress every time. Honestly, we think speed's bullshit. We only do it because it's on Warcraft logs.
Or progress always. Okay, perfect.
Though obviously in Classic, I realised the tilt towards speed because a lot of the content was so easy.
Do you feel it's
And
going?
it's natural for humans to want to compare stuff.
Do you feel it's going to be that easy in TBC compared to what Classic was?
I mean, I think the hardest thing is going to be attunement, rep. I don't think Karazhan's very hard. I'm sure it gets hard later. KT was great. The other KT. And I'm sure Sunwell will be a challenge. So I guess until then it's a marathon, not a sprint. And sorry, Dollar, I don't know really how many teams we're going to have. As I said, we'll just need to wait and see what happens.
I think we're nearing the end of the interview. Was really great having you. Anything else you want to add, Oleh? Before we
I saw a question that was pretty good in the chat that said about Specs. Somebody wrote, what's the story between you and Specs? Why are you best pals now after he kicked you out of a bunker DMT and hated you and all that?
Oh.
And quite simply, when I was looking for a shaman, I really did a deep dive into the logs and I found Smackage. And I was, where did Smackage go? And it turned out that Smackage had to change onto another character and play warrior. And then he logged onto his alt one day and I was like, yo dude, like why don't you play your shaman anymore? And he was like, oh well, because we didn't need them in our guild. And I was like, well, you know, I know how talented you are as a player. I'd really love to have you in EZ. It's like, what the raid days like with Bunker? Like you could play your shaman with us, and it was something like that along those lines. And then I think I spoke to Valp as well, and then it was like a gang of Specs, Valp, and Smack, and Bunker, and then Bunker died. And the day Bunker died, I was like, well, why don't you come to us? Like, I'd love to have both of you. And they were like, no, we go where Specs goes. And Specs hates you. And I was like, all right. Like, I wasn't sure that there was any beef. So I hit him up and I was like, so, you know, what's this about the beef? And I don't know, we just talked out, and it turned out we were just both very passionate about our guilds. Like, he was very passionate about Bunker, and you know, we had a bit of a thing with Hatch. Like, if anyone remembers when Hatch tried to fight me in real life with the whole meet me in the street thing, that was a great meme. Because it got that serious between me and Hatch. And that's why I had to get my punch bag to train up to fight Hatch. Other than that, you know, that's the only reason. So there was that kind of level of friction, and when me and Specs talked out, we realised that our differences were just the fact that he was defending Bunker and I was defending EZ, and we're just loyal members. And then when Bunker thing gone, why are we not playing together? Like, so Specs is now EZ along with his pals, and it's brilliant, you know. And justice for Bunker. Where did the money go? Pay up Skadix. That's what I'm saying.
I want us to meet back at towards
On the street.
on the anytime. I'd love to fucking come to. You know, I told my Scottish friend, after all this Corona shit goes down and we can start traveling and stuff, the first on our list, me and my wife, she doesn't know, I hope she's not listening, we will visit Scott. We will come to your country. I want to do a bike tour and everything, see my friends, so it will be a pleasure to stop, have a beer with you, spend the night with you.
Anytime, man.
We will have so much fun, I'm pretty sure. Cool. Chat, this is it. This was fucking... Hey, is how do you call that?
Iron Brew.
Iron Brew. My friend, my Scottish friend, I think they drink that. They drink that every week.
TTS on you say.
Drunken
GG interview.
ZG.
Baguette.
I feel like I could answer questions from the chat all day.
Chat.
Love these guys.
Say it with a Scottish accent. Say it with a Glasgow accent. They told me. I was quite disappointed. Okay, Dollar last week. Dollar, I'm sorry. I'm gonna say your name. Dollar said you better bring a translator, somebody who will, because you won't understand a fucking word of what Oleh will tell you. I got on first time that we actually talked was last week, and I felt disappointed. I can understand you pretty well compared to some of my Scottish friends that I don't understand a single word they're saying. So you need to give me your Glasgow accent, something good.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have a very strong accent, really.
No, it's actually super good. I can understand you. I mean,
Like, I think the strongest I can go is, "Oh, what man? What you looking at? You're a rocket. You're getting pure steaky, you cunt." That's pretty typical of Glasgow.
what did you say?
It's basically like, what's going on? What are you looking at? You idiot! You're getting stabbed.
Glasgow is a rough or tough city, is it?
It's got a reputation for it. I'm a bit of a West End boy, so I live in the good bit. Karoa's got more of experience of kind of the rough side of Glasgow. I think he's pretty much seen it all. But it depends where you go. Like, out with the very city centre and the far East End and all the suburbs round about, it's a really lovely city.
Okay.
And we won City of Culture, friendliest city. I think we just won Europe's friendly city again, but also most violent city. And there's Kevin Bridges who does a sketch about that we will stab you, but we'll take you to the hospital.
How does that make sense? The most friendly city and the most violent city at the same time. How does that make sense?
The joke is that we got our act together pretty fast.
But anyway, I'm telling you, you can rest assured I will come visit because I want to. Scotland is really nice country. Somebody told me about the Scotland for a bike tour, the Scotland 500 something. It's motorcycle tour that goes around the country. So you can
Yep.
you can rest assured.
I've done it myself, and I know a lot about it. So if you want any advice on that, hit me up.
You drive a motorcycle? Oh.
Not a motorcycle. I've done it by car.
Okay, then the biker. I will hit you up for sure, and like I said, we will spend the night because I will be there, and for sure I won't miss going with you. Have a night, have a drink.
Yeah, sounds good.
And like I said, I want to see a to-do list towards the end of TBC, where I'm gonna redo all of this in maybe in 2 years, 3 years, don't know. I want to see the same guy sitting in front of me with a to-do list, and maybe an evolution of the shit hot logs.
Oh, here we go. I can tick this off now.
You can-
Finally, met Azuma. Here we go.
Thank you very much. Thank you to have come and share all your stories. Really interesting stories. We almost did 3 hours. It's fucking incredible. Thank you for being on cam. I wouldn't have thought when I first asked you to be interviewed that you would come on cam. Actually, you were the one saying, no, I want to come on cam. Then you said that your next phrase was, can I buy a few props? Then you started scaring me. But I wouldn't have it any other way. It was really entertaining, really fun knowing you, really cool.
Yeah, I think it's probably a big surprise for everybody to see me. Especially a lot of people probably expected like an actual troll, or somebody that looks like the guy from South Park. So here I am, guys. You know.
Do you remember what was the first thing I told you when I saw you on cam last week? Do you remember?
You said that was a very good looking guy.
That's exactly the first thing I said.
Yeah, but Dollar wouldn't come on the cam because of his COVID weight, but here I am sharing my COVID weight with the world.
So the next people that are coming, take notes. Take notes of this man right here, not being scared of, not only being on cam, answering the question, talking about everything that he talked tonight, and so on. So again, thank you very much. Guys, next week, the guest is, and this is funny, and maybe you will want to comment on this, the real third GM who killed Katie, Popcoin from Dark Rain. Because
Nice.
because he was with OK when we killed
Yeah, because it was a pug. It wasn't a real kill. I'm loving that you're getting involved in my propaganda here. This is great.
I think everybody will appreciate to know Popcoin, just like I'm sure a lot of people appreciate the fact that you did all that tonight, and they got to know you, and TNT will come. Don't worry, guys. TNT will come. He's on the list. Of course, I cannot.
By the way, talking about TNT and aggressive recruitment, right? I've got nothing on TNT, right? TNT tried to recruit one of my guys the other day, and he showed them his YouTube video of how he goes over his raids, goes through the logs and all that, and flames all his members, and showed it to the warlock in my guild and say, look, this is how serious, Titans are. You should come and join us. Like, TNT is relentless. Like, I could learn some stuff from TNT.
I saw, like I said, I quickly watched one of his YouTube video. Was really entertaining. Well, I'm on the fence. I think I will have to go a little bit to watch it from end to end. I'm on the fence on. For sure, man. Anybody who's going to watch it will learn. That's for sure. And I think it's a great thing what he does for his guild and so on. But anyway, this is not the content. TNT will come. His time will come. It's already scheduled, guys. Calm down.
Popcoin next week.
Popcoin next week. The real third GM who killed Kitty. So the number 3 GM who killed Kitty. Again, really.
Just without his guild.
No, there was 3. There was actually
Yeah, there was 3.
3. There was Popcoin. There was, if I'm not mistaken, Kayla as a priest, and another priest that I could not pronounce his name even though I wanted to. He has like a weird fucking name.
Man, now you're doing the flaming.
What?
Now you're flaming people, not me.
No, he was super cool. It's just that I cannot pronounce his name. If I do it, I'm gonna massacre his name and look it up. You'll see. It was Kayla X on her priest with Popcoin and a third priest with a really.
I don't know.
Softy in the chat. Softy saying I was in the 13-14 run that week, but no invite to Kitty.
Oh, softy.
I love
It's a
Softy.
shame.
Yeah, I love Softy. He's one of the good streamer, I think, on the outside as well.
Yeah, he's good. No, I can't find it. Sorry.
No problem. Softy, what was the name of that priest? Help us out. Anyway, Oleh, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I hope seeing you back in TBC, the end towards TBC. In the meantime, I wish you a lot. You, Jarv, the whole Easy crew. I wish you guys good luck and the remainder of Classic, a good start of TBC, and everything that comes with it.
Okay, cheers. Thanks, everyone.
Chat. See you guys next week for Popcoin and tomorrow night for my usual next tier. Peace. I'm out.
Bye.